Hi, it's Dorothy Gagne with Scrapbooking Quebec, and today I'm going to do my August 2020 layout share for the stash busting YouTube collaboration, How to Kill a Kit with Style. You'll find links to all the other participants below. Also, I'm going to put a link to my kit building video below as well in case you're interested. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you my future plans as a participant in this series because my strategy is going to change. Now in August, I ended up creating 4 pages and 2 cards, which is less than usual. That's because I scrapbook less in the summer and I put together a smaller kit. So here are the first 2 pages I created, a double page spread. Now for this one, I followed a sketch, a Milena Woodiwiss sketch. She is a sketch artist for the Scrapbook Nerd. And I did do a layout process video for this spread. I'll link that up below as well. I did it for this page design, not the page itself. So for this one, I used the paper, the letter stamps, and to embellish, I fussy cut those flowers from the paper and I used some of the chipboard. Probably the most challenging thing here was using those letters because I really wanted to use them this month. It's a beautiful stamp set, but I haven't touched it in a long time. So what I ended up doing was stamping it on cardstock, stamping my title on cardstock, and then punching out the letters with a 1 3/8 inch circle punch. And then I added a few layers of cardstock underneath so that they popped up almost like chipboard. So here are the next 2 layouts. Again, another double page spread. Again, I used the paper, the letter stamps, and in this case, I ended up using a bit of all of the embellishments. So I used some of the chipboard, I used the enamel dots, a bit of the ephemera. And again, for the title, I used the very same technique. I stamped on cardstock, then I punched it out, and then I added a few layers of cardstock underneath to add a bit of dimension, almost turn the letters into chipboard. I found these stamps a little too fussy to stamp directly to the page because if you wanted to stamp them straight on a page, you had to use a stamp positioner, and even that was a little bit tough. What I'm showing you there is I did attempt to make a background paper, my own paper, with those stamps by kind of stamping everywhere. That was quick. It looks a bit wild, but when I put the photos on top, it wasn't too bad. That's what I'm trying to demonstrate here. I ended up not using it, but it is something I may do in the future. At least it was easy. When stamping becomes too fussy for me, I end up not doing it. So for me, the best way was to use the stamps and then punch out the letters. The only thing is they're kind of big, and if you wanted to add a background behind those circles, it was getting pretty big. You would have to have a really short title. Anyway, I had some scraps left over, so I ended up making these 2 cards. Actually, those 2 squares with hearts on them, I made them for the first layout I created for that grid as part of the grid, but I ended up not using them. So instead of throwing them out, I kept them, and with the scraps, I just made a few card bases. So here's what I have left over. Like I said, I have a bit of scraps of paper. I ended up wasting a bit of that aqua paper, but whatever. And there is the stash kit recipe I followed this summer for July and August. Basically, it was a guide that I created in order to make smaller kits because I scrapbook less in the summer. And here are the embellishments I have left over. And like I said before, I used a bit of everything, but not a lot of everything. And all of this will go back in my stash. I kind of knew this was going to happen at the beginning of the month. The pages I made, I only used the material here for embellishments, and I wouldn't have embellished any more. It would have been too much. So I'm happy with it. Those are the stamps. Like I said, I'm happy I used them, but they are fussy to stamp directly onto a page, so I definitely prefer punching them out. And again, another option is to make a background page with them. So there you have it. Those are the pages I made, and if you want to know what my upcoming plans are as a participant, stick around. So what you see on this screen are the material is 1 pouch of paper that I have left over of uninspiring material, or what I consider uninspiring material. That's about 2 inches worth of paper. Now, when I started this series 17 months ago, I had 4 bags like this, and at one point 5. But now I only have one. And honestly, since I started this, there's one thing I can say. I have become a better shopper. I've never did a spending freeze. However, what I buy, I use. So if I want to continue this series, this stash busting series, I have to rethink my strategy a bit. I do want to continue using stash, but I can't continue the way I have been because I just don't have enough of it. So I'm going to take 1, maybe 2 months off of this series to reflect on my new plan, and I'll come back and share that with you. I'm not leaving YouTube. I'll be back real soon. So stick with me, and I do appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.